3, 2, 1. What is going on, everybody? This is the Undefeated by Choice podcast brought to you by Steelfist Fights. Today, we've got one half of Friday the 28th main event, Mr. Carson, the Perfect Storm Hardman. What's going on, my man?
Nothing much. How are you doing, Matt?
Doing excellent. Thank you for making the drive all the way out here from Lehigh.
It's not that far, but it's worth it.
You're one of the few people to say that. I get people coming out here from like Kaysville, like, oh man, this is a long drive.
Well, I mean, I do have ADD.
I was gonna say, are you a truck driver? Are you used to being on the road? I mean,
my job actually requires me to travel a lot. I do have a long commute. Some days I've traveled up to like 3 hours.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So this ain't too bad.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's the job, dude.
Yeah.
As I was come out here for the fans.
Exactly. As I was telling you, my show used to be in Lehigh, so I know that commute very well. And it's actually worse coming here out, because when you get to that like Thanksgiving point, right when you're almost to your destination, and then you're like stuck in traffic.
Jam-packed, baby.
Coming out here, you get that long stretch between North Salt Lake and Layton, and it's a smooth ride. So, and also, you're the most professionally dressed man that's ever sat in the seat across from me. So I appreciate the professionalism.
I was told that anytime you have an interview, you should dress your best.
I appreciate it, man.
All for you, Matt.
You're kind of known for that. That's kind of like your thing. Where did that even come from? Just that you were told at one point.
Yeah, just values. You see, and the athletes you see on TV, I don't see any basketball players always, they wear their sweats and stuff in camp, and if they're interviewing them after their training session or whatever, their practice, but no, when they're going to a game, when you go to a football, you see the football players getting out of the bus or whatever, they always had their suits on, and I was like, I don't know, it's just expected. I grew up on a farm with old school values, and that's just kind of what was my grandpa was like, you better dress up. I was like, okay, Grandpa, got it.
I like it. I know there was always when it started in MMA, I remember the person who like really was promoted the most was Rashad Evans. Was like, I've gone to it was like one of those mental coaches. It was like, you're going to business, you're going to work, so you dress like you're going to work. You dress successful. If you it's all part of the mindset. It's part of the job.
I'm a firm believer in that.
And so he started doing that, and I've always seen that. And actually, I was going to comment how on this poster is like the first one I've seen in a long time where you weren't wearing the red shirt.
Yeah, I talked to Kevin and Pat about that, man. Everyone loved the shirt, but I guess they didn't love it anymore, dude. So, it's their show, it's their business. They get to choose how to run it, but I do. I like my shirt tie. I don't know. I'm white, dude. It's like the sun shining off me. It's like I'm whiter than my white shirt here. So I don't know. It looks a little funny to me.
Yeah. Well, have you read the comments? And you shouldn't. You shouldn't read the comments. No one should ever read the comments. But there's
let's see him, dude.
There's quite a few comments about how you and Brian look so much alike, and they're like, oh, they look like you say you guys look like you could be brothers, or it's like a before and after picture, and then there was someone who said you looked like this famous gamer. And dude, I've
gotten that, about what is it, the Fortnite, where they do the weird dances and stuff. See, I don't even know, man. I let you know how much I do electronics.
I looked him up, and you do look very similar to him, but I thought it was crazy how someone like came right out of that, because who follows a gamer on Instagram?
Dude, I was working at the job site a couple weeks ago, and he's like, stopped saying, he's like, do you know what Tfue is? And I was like, what the heck are you talking about? And they're like, the gamer from Fortnite. And I was like, I don't even play video games, bud. And he's like, 1 second. He comes back to me, he's like, tell me this doesn't look like you. And I was like, kind of, sure, dude. I don't want to be like, that's me.
No, it does. Because I saw that, and they're like, why does my guy look like Tfue? So I was like, who is this? So I look him up, and I'm like, he does kind of look like Carson. But your guys' poster has gotten the most heat out of like any poster I've seen. The last card, everyone was like, what is this? The dad bod competition? Like everyone was hating so bad, and I was like,
Just because it's the 205 guys, man. Cut them some slack.
I know.
These guys would put you through a wall.
I know.
Shut your mouth. That's what I tell them.
Well, that's the problem is I'm the one that's like speaking up for him because I'm running the Instagram. So I'm the one that's like having to defend him, and I'm wanting to be like, hey, why don't you show up? Show up and step in the ring with one of these guys, one of these dad bods. You know, all these people like from their couch talking, and the fighters aren't even seeing it or paying attention to it, and I'm the one that's getting mad for him. I'm like, oh, you little troll. You so like so. Just so you know, just all the fighters know I got your back out there.
Well, it's just not even convenient though for our sport.
No.
I really, going into if you want to talk about the physical aspects of our sport and stuff, I actually have had people come up to me recently and be like, "Are you dropping a weight class? Or you're looking a little smaller than you were?" And it's because I had a coach who pushed the weight training a lot more, and we kind of got rid of it. We moved it, and we're doing things a little differently where we focus more about the technique and the skills, and being maybe more in shape as far as the actions, like fight applicable things. We still lift a little bit of weights, but not anything close. And that's sometimes spending 2 or 3 hours on a Friday for legs and back. Heck no, man. It doesn't work for our sport. So you got these people commenting the dad bod, but in all reality, that's just the in shape for our sport. I'm with Chelsonen. Chelsonen says that if you have a six-pack, for the most part, I'm not saying this about my opponent, but if you have a six-pack, you're probably doing something you shouldn't, like illegal drugs or something, or you're anorexic. And that's kind of what I've come to the conclusion as well. Like, I've watched that, and I've watched other people, and I'm just like, it's just not conducive for the sport, and it's not natural for the human body to be that chiseled all the time. Even bodybuilders, my uncle was pretty big into that, and he didn't even always have like the perfect six-pack until a couple weeks before his competition. So if that even lets you know a little bit, like
I mean, you're gonna if you are cutting a lot of weight, you're gonna get a six-pack because all the motions we do as fighters, we're gonna build a core. So then if you cut down, it's just gonna your six-pack is just gonna pop out.
It'll pop out, but
because that's where you're gonna hold a lot of your water when you're hydrated, and then when you're dehydrated.
But then they pop back in the ring, and it all just
and it's gone. It's gone.
I mean, you still kind of see it, but it's not that chiseled, hard look anymore.
Well, it's just I was actually working with a fighter the other day doing some speed and agility stuff with him, and he's like, "This stuff is like way better than just standing out there and lifting." And I was like, "Well, you're never unless
like what are you gonna do
unless you're on your back and someone's on top of you and you bench press you bench press them off of you. That's really not. I mean, you have to build the muscle, you have to build the strength.
When are you going to use those? I'm going to call them isolation. That's what they are. When are you going to use those isolation lifts in fighting? Very, very rare. If you do, dude, go work on your technique.
I mean that should be a very, very small part of your training. Building that muscle is good, but like.
It's more about maintaining than anything. It's not even about building muscle. I would say it's just a maintaining of.
When people want to get in real shape, I'm like, wrestle. Go wrestle. You want to get in real. So you want to get real strong. Go wrestle someone who's really strong. That's going to make you strong because you're going to use every single muscle in your body. I get done wrestling, my ears hurt. I'm like, there's a muscle back there. Why does my ear hurt?
We call that cauliflower ear.
And then it's full of blood and it's hanging off the side of my head. Dude, so one thing I always get to in the very first of my interviews, and we jumped right into it. So this one's probably going to be longer than a half hour. Sorry, Kevin and Pat. Just kidding. I always ask the nickname. Your nickname, the Perfect Storm. I think it fits. You. Where'd you get it? How'd you get it? Let's hear the origin story of the Perfect Storm.
So I took a 2-year break to go serve a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I came home, and my coach Mark, he was actually the one. He's like, "So I got your name," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, sweet. What is it?" And he's like, "Perfect Storm," and I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking, what kind of cheesy Disney name is that, dude? But oh yeah, let's do it, man.
Thanks, coach.
Let's go. And honestly, the more I've gotten used to it, the more I'm going to say worn the name. It gives me something to strive for. It gives me a purpose. Like, that's what you should be. You should be everyone should, when they go out there to fight. They should be the perfect mix of elements, because this is mixed martial arts, to bring down whatever it is that you are raining hellfire and brimstone down upon, So,
well, I like I said, looking at your record and having witnessed many of your fights, I think it fits just fine. Like you said, the perfect amount of elements. I mean, I've seen you go the distance. I've seen you take someone on the ground. I've seen you take someone standing up. I've seen you all over that octagon. Everywhere that octagon goes, I've seen you in that situation, and you're there and you're in it. And so, that's there's a lot of terrible nicknames out there. That's why I always go to nicknames, and I always want to give people nicknames. But yours, I think that one fits you right. So Mark, good call on the nickname. Good call on the perfect storm. I like it. So how is camp going? Where do you train? Who do you train with? Who are your coaches? Give us all the rundown of that.
So I train down in Lehigh. It's like 3 minutes from my house, honestly, where I grew up at. And train with Mark Balser. He was trained under a jiu-jitsu coach, Pedro. He's like the second man, I think, to get his black belt from the Gracie family. Oh, wow. So back in the day, that was a pretty big deal. Yeah. Pedro currently, last time I checked, is still training like Navy SEALs and stuff, things like that. But that's who Mark was trained under. That's kind of where his lineage is, which is interesting because I think our gym has gotten more of like a stand-up fighter notion, just from our fighters in the past and from me. Yeah. So that's where Mark's come from. That's who I'm going to call the head coach. I have a strength coach now who is Clark Stockton, and he does actually Highland Games is what he does. Okay. And so he just helps me out, and it's been interesting for him because that's his sport, Highland Games. We were just talking about different in shapes, and for fighting, it's one thing. So for him to step in and say, okay, this is what I do, and I'm supposed to make him stronger without the muscle mass that takes, or bulking up to be so big. Yeah. How am I going to do that? And what's the best approach? Because everyone's different, he's different from me. He's different than this fighter over here, or that guy, or this guy. So he's had a fun time. I'm going to call it putting together the program that I have now. Yeah. So, but really those are my coaches per se. The people I train with, you've heard of him. He just fought Michael McVicious. If you want to talk about nicknames, I think that's pretty freaking sweet nickname. He just got his nickname tattooed on his arm. Oh no! And he went to he goes to BYU, and so everyone, first off, you see a tattoo, they're like,
"Uh oh, you're in trouble."
Yeah. But they see that and they're like, why the heck would you get that? And he's like, shut up, man. You don't understand what this means to me. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Keep the tattoo. That's sweet. Yeah. So.
Well, he's going to be careful. He's going to be covered before he knows it. That happens.
I told him, I was like, dude, like he got his first one on his leg and he hid it from his parents.
And as many of us do. I jumped right into it. I went right on the forearm because I was like, I can't hide it. If I'm going to start getting them, I can't hide them. So I put it right on the forearm, and then all of a sudden the rest of the arm got covered.
So that's kind of what happened. Is and then all of a sudden they started creeping in. Yeah. And I was like, dude, you're going to be addicted. It's coming for you. You just watch. And all of a sudden he comes to us. So I think I want another tattoo. Yep. What is it going to be, though? Yep. And he's like, I don't know yet.
Well, it takes some time. Takes some time. But you two would look great standing next to you. Perfectly clean cut in your suit, and then him just all tatted up sitting next to you, as teammates walking in there.
Michael's a great kid. I wouldn't mind that at all. He's been awesome for me. Yeah. I also train with Tristan. Wendell is his last name. He recently fought a couple months back as well. Well, actually, I shouldn't say recent. It's been more than that. Probably like 4 or 6 months by now. Okay. So I train with him. He's only had one amateur fight, but honestly, that's my team. Yeah. We rotate through so many people in our gym. Our gym's very unique that way, where people come in and they're like, it's just not for us. Yeah. And that's cool. That's fine. You know, I get that. I understand that. You should go somewhere where it does fit you, and you do feel like this is what you need and this is where you belong, kind of deal. Mm-hmm. So honestly, that's my team. Those are my coaches. Just almost on one hand right there. And, there's a few other people. Like right now we got a kid, Bryce. So far he's sticking around and he's doing awesome. He used to train down at Tom's gym. So he's been good for me to just get another perspective, another body type in with me. Yeah. So that's been good. But constantly, just rotating through people.
Do you do a lot of hard sparring there, or
no? We don't believe in that garbage. Okay, dude, I'm not a fan of it. It's like hard wrestling or grappling. Like I'm gonna compare it with grappling because I think it gets a better notion. How many times do you go and do like a jiu-jitsu and like the really good guys want to go with the fresh guys, like the brand new greenie? They never do, because the brand new greenie's over there flexing his muscles and like, let's tear this apart. The experienced guys are like, no, let's here to learn. And they go at this pace where it's, I'm going to call it a 50 to 60% pace, where it's just fast enough to where it's almost reality, but it's slow enough to where your brain can think and you can muscle memory things and you can say, oh, this is what I'm doing wrong. I should have done this. And so the next time that move comes up, you can do it. You can do it properly. And it allows your mind to think. And we do that a lot with sparring as well. We don't go balls to the wall. We don't throttle people. I mean, does it happen? Yeah, there's always that lucky punch or that perfect kick where you throw it light and it you're like limping out like the next, and everyone's like, what's wrong with you? Nothing, I'm fine.
just caught a 60% kick.
But so we do a lot of light sparring and a lot of drilling, honestly. Recently we've taken on swords. That's what we call them. They're like the foam noodles. And there's just these little that's what they are.
Like swimming pool.
They're actually swords.
Oh, they're not the cheap duct tape.
No, so we tried those at first, but we teach little kids at our gym too. And so we have these like foam swords that we put helmets on them, and they just do like battle royales.
Yeah, of course,
as like a game, if they're good. And so we actually use those as my mitts, and it has helped to perfect my timing and movement and things of that nature.
I like it.
So that's a lot of where our training comes from, and I think that's why a lot of people actually don't like it.
Because they want
a lot of new guys. They want to come in. That's cool. But not here.
Well, me and Eric Hyman just talked about that, and we both were feeling that, like, we feel like in the beginning when you're new, you maybe need that. You need that sense, you need that feeling of hard sparring just to, I don't know, kind of get your timing down. But then after a certain point, you don't need it anymore. You just don't need it.
There's times to go hard, and I'm not saying I haven't gone hard.
And that's the thing is, probably when you started,
We started off light, and then once I had my bearings then we started going a little bit harder, and then we've kind of moved away from that idea and said, even then, like, your partner's never full out hit you. But I mean, you do. You need to know what it's like to be punched. For those who have never been in a fight and they're going in for their first time. I mean, I don't throttle them. But I'll hit them with a solid shot. Because that's not doing them any favors.
Right.
Like, this is what they feel like, and they get in there like,
the gloves are smaller.
I don't like to be here.
It's a different story.
So,
well, you just had Tony Ferguson, who just, he had all that time off, and then he goes in and puts on a beautiful display against Cowboy, and then says, I can't remember the last time I sparred. I can't. It's been years and years and years. So, I mean, like I said, I feel like, I don't know what I know, but I feel like there's a time when you don't need to do it as much.
Well, and I also think that it takes a special person to do that, to have the discipline for one, and then to have the ability to put two and two together. Like we see that in all sports. They're great in practice or the training room, and they get out to game time. And it's like there's a disconnect. It's like it never meshes, or it's just like.
We call them practice players in football. That's the way it was. Kids who'd shine during practice,
and then it's like they choke in the game.
Game time,
so
they disappear.
I think it takes. I think there's a combination there of. You have to think smart about it, but then it also takes that correct person, which is what I think is also unique to fighting. and what makes it fair for people who aren't athletes.
Yeah. Well, I love this, my job, what I get to do in the interviewing and hearing people's different styles of training, because I swear everybody's different, but I'm always like trying to associate people with you know, the UFC fighters or other fighters that I know of, and it's like, you know, I love that your camp is small, that it's, you can count everybody on one hand. I mean, you have like fighters like Rose Namajunas, who is phenomenal and amazing, and it's just her camp's really her, and everyone who's brought in is really brought in for her, or just a couple other people that Trevor might be training or her, you know, but it's really just a very small camp. And then you have the giant camps, like AKA they're the one hit,
I can't even imagine
being in a giant camp.
Yeah, like I don't even know what that would be like.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine going through that many people a day. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
But some people, it's for them. Some people, that's what they need. That's what they love. I mean, you get Daniel Cormier coming out of there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and who am I to judge? Because technically, they're more successful than me right now. So,
well, the right thing to do is do what works for you.
Yeah.
And with a 7-1 record, I say you're finding what's working for you. I say you're doing what's working for you. And the reason specifically I asked what your sparring situation was like is because of the fights I've seen you get in, and I wanted to know where the toughness comes from, because don't take this wrong. Don't take this wrong. But when I'm, you know, promoting the fight and I'm showing people, like, you know, this guy's fighting this guy, and they'll ask me about him, and I'm like, this guy right here, you can never count him out of a fight. You can't at any, like you might be watching and thinking, oh man, he's taking a beating, and then somehow he finds a way. Like your last fight, I was like, Carson, man, what's happening? And then all of a sudden, I don't even know what you did. All of a sudden, he stumbled.
Just
and I was
slid
like,
out, dude.
I was
just
like,
covered up.
I see him stumble, and all of a sudden, you win. And I'm like, that's the perfect storm right there. That's Carson right there. Like there's a toughness, and there's a part where a lot of people break. And even in the Clay Collard fight, I never see that out of you. I just see you like, it's like in your head, you know, it only takes one punch for me to win. It only takes one, so go ahead, do what you're gonna do. Like, so I'm gonna quit going on about it. But where does that come from? How did you develop that ability to just know that no matter what, you're always in it, and you can always? I mean, anyways, I don't know. It's honestly impressive to watch. It's impressive to watch. What I'm trying to say.
Ever since I was just tiny, I always had my adopted dad's name, Gregory, so Gene is his name. I would always want to roughhouse, and he never wanted to. So just ever since I was like little, I just remember wanting to play rough.
Yeah.
I mean, I never wanted to necessarily hurt anyone.
Right.
But I just loved, like, boxing. I remember for Christmas one year, we got the little pillow boxing gloves.
Yeah.
And we wore them down so thin that you might as well have just been doing bare knuckle fighting, dude. It was so dumb.
Yeah.
But, like, I just love playing rough. I always have. My coach calls it the retard strength. Because I'm not the brightest, and I know that.
Yeah.
But I honestly, where it comes from, I have no idea. But I will say that I'm human.
Yeah.
In all of those fights, there has been moments where, that thought does flash through my head. Like, dude, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And we'll take my most recent fight, the Groves fight. There was one point where my coach in the back, he sat and he's looking at me, and he said, it's time to show your future wife, because at that time we were only engaged.
Okay.
He said, time to show your future wife and kid what dad really is, what kind of man you really are. And I remember that. I remember like covering up and hearing his words echo through my head, and I was just like, this isn't the man I want to be. I can be better than this. And I did. So it worked.
Yeah, it was impressive. Like, and I just tell people all the time, like, come watch this guy fight, and but whatever you do, don't count him out. Just don't count him out. That's all I'm gonna say. Is don't say.
I think a big part too is, like, maybe why you don't count me out is I'm not scared to get hit.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fight.
Yeah.
Why should, if you're looking to not get hit, go play chess.
Yeah.
Go do swimming, track. I don't know, something where it's not physical. If you don't like to get hit, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. And so it's like, I'm there to play. Again, I love to play rough.
Yeah.
I'm not scared to play rough. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
I love what you brought up about hearing your coach's voice in your head and having that moment, because so many people who don't fight don't understand like those moments. Like, how many times have you had those moments in a fight where you've been in the middle of something and you're still having like another thought, or something like a moment of clarity is coming through? Like, people don't understand like how, and I think it comes with familiarity, or maybe just from the type of athlete you are, because I don't know if every fighter has it, but I know I've one fight, and I had that moment in my fight where I was like thinking about something else while we're fighting, and
it's almost like, what is it, like the drug that releases, is it DMT or whatever, that releases in your brain and everything, like
there's a lot of drugs that release
that flash through like that moment. It's kind of like a mild dose of that, I think. You know, where it's like it happens so fast that it just comes and goes.
Yeah. In mine, it was because I got a flash knockout. He caught me with an uppercut. Everything went black. I dropped to my knees, and I woke up, and I had my hands wrapped around his legs.
Like, oh,
and I was like, oh, the fight's not over yet. Okay, so I get up, I stand up, and we separate, and I think to myself, and in my head I was like, most people are going to be scared at this point, thinking he just knocked me out. But in my head I was like, he just knocked me out. Fight's not over. He's not meant to win this fight.
Yeah, I can do this.
If the fight's not over, then he's definitely not meant to win this fight. It's meant to be me, and that's when I relaxed, and I just started letting my hands go after that. So it's the craziest thing that you can have those moments, and I mean to have it at that in your fight, to have that be the moment you switched around and turned around the fight. It was awesome to watch. I was like, whoa! And then I was like, I didn't even know. Like I said, I didn't even know what you hit him with. All of a sudden, he just started stumbling, and I was like, what the heck did he just hit him with? I mean, and so yeah, it was. So going back to it, I was wondering if you just had hard sparring sessions, you're just used to getting into it, or if you just get in that moment in the fight.
It's just in the fight. It's just who I am, I guess. It's my nature.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
No, it's pretty awesome to watch, man. I have to say that it's exciting. It's never. I'm like, when I'm selling people on this fight, I'm like, it's easy. It's gonna be an exciting fight. It's easy. Like, and this is your 11th fight with Steelfist. I counted it up on Tapology.
If that's what your
11th fight was Steelfist. So you're definitely a child of Steelfist. I feel like you're one of ours.
I'm a firm believer of loyalty. I've noticed how business is these days, and that's one thing that I wanted to be different. And I also heard how loyal Conor McGregor was to his coaches and just his team and stuff, and like how far that got him.
Yeah.
And I definitely am a firm believer that until UFC comes to me and says, hey, we want you on the team, or LFA, some bigger promotion that can truly offer me something bigger, a lot of these local shows are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And Kevin and Pat have never done me wrong. They've treated me like gold. Great friends with Troy as well. So I have no reason to go anywhere else. I wanted loyalty to be a fundamental key feature of the man that I want to be. So.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it. I mean, I can't remember, I don't know I didn't count up how many main events you've been in with Steelfist, but I know every fight I've seen you in, it's been a main event for Steelfist. So I mean, I know we've had you out there quite a few times, and like I said, they know that when Carson's fighting, it's going to be a show. Win, lose or draw, it's going to be a show, and more often than not, it's a win.
Well, and that's the way fighting should be. Fighting is not. God, there was a time where it seemed like everyone in UFC figured out wrestling, and that's all they wanted to do was come out there and wrestle. And I was like, okay, I respect it. It works.
Yeah.
But guys, we're not here to wrestle. We're entertainers.
Yeah.
If you want to go wrestle on the mat.
Yeah.
This is the ring. We hit. We use elbows. We got knees. We got kicks.
Yeah. Use them.
We got awesome submissions. Like, do something. You're an entertainer. No one, people came to see a little bit more I'm going to say violence.
Yeah.
A stronger word.
Yeah, that's what it is.
they didn't come to see you hug. Come on, dude, go home with your dad and do that. So that's another maybe reason why I'm not scared to get his. That's also how I view myself. I view myself first and foremost as an entertainer. I'm there to put on a show. I'm not there to be so technical that it's like I'm gonna fall asleep, because I hate those fights. Oh my gosh. Snore fest.
And then they always take forever, and they make you have to wait in the back even longer because you're the main event.
You're on those cards, like my Kerry Latimer fight, and of course I was guilty of it too because I went the distance. But dude, I
whole card
called 1 o'clock in the morning and I had to fight. I was like, this is dumb. All of you before me, you suck. Go learn how to knock someone out.
Well, I have nothing to say to that. I mean, I went to.
I know it's hard. I know it's harder than that, you know. But it's annoying when. But
when they just go in and they just want to do that, they want to do the Khabib, and they think they're Khabib, but you know, Khabib's got the ground and pound.
Well, I was gonna say, but even Khabib is exciting, because he is like freaking mauling him like a bear, dude. Like, and that's sadistic if you want to say that of me, but dude, that's cool to watch. Like, dude, that guy just tackles him and just rails on him the whole time.
What he does is very, very impressive. Well, I don't think that is going to be the case June 28th against Brian Thomas. I think you two are going to put on the fight of the night. For most of the fight cards, you know, when I'm on social media, I usually try to say like who I think the dark horse fight of the night's going to be, but I'm pretty sure that it's pretty clear what the fight of the night's going to be on this card. I think you and Brian are going to pretty much shut down the night, which is the way it should be. Is you're the main event.
Absolutely.
What do you know about Brian? What are you preparing for? How do you see this fight playing out in your mind?
Dude, I know Brian's got a lot of tattoos, and in his picture, I think he has an ear piercing.
That's all you know? You're not. You don't put any. You don't study at all. Your coaches do it?
Yeah, I do a little bit of study. It's funny you should bring that up. I used to watch film. Like the moment I knew, I was like searching their name. Yeah. But I found out like I have like depression and anxiety, and so I get super anxious and jittery.
Okay.
And so if I watch them, it's like I get too
into it, and
then I'm laying there in bed, just like thoughts spinning through my head, man. I'm just like, what if he does this or that? And then what am I gonna do?
Okay.
Yeah. You know, so I remember listening to Stipe one day about what he does, and he doesn't watch it until 2 weeks before the fight. Okay. And at that point, my mind is already spinning anyway. So I said, why not? Yeah. So actually, Sunday or Monday is when I will be watching Brian for the first time. Okay. My coach has watched him though. Okay. And so he's kind of, but it's not the approach of, okay, he's going to do this, and this. It's more the approach of, okay, this is just what he looks like. You know, because when it's a surprise, it just makes it that much harder. It's just kind of nice to get familiar, is all it is. Yeah. You know, in my opinion.
Something simple like he's a stand-up guy. He throws a lot of punches, or he throws a lot of kicks.
Or this is his favorite go-to move, like random move. Maybe it's, you know, my coach has told me he likes to throw like a spinning heel kick and a spinning back fist. He's like, those are like his favorite random out-of-the-bag moves. Yeah. I don't know if that's true. I haven't watched it. Yeah. And maybe he'll change it this fight, but it's just a feeler. Yeah. It means that he will throw something out, you know, something that's not normal, probably more than likely. Yeah. And so what we do is we focus more on me, not so much on them. It's just more of like a feeler. That's all it really is. So I'll do my homework here pretty soon. Yeah.
Do you do like each fight, or even like now that you're kind of more seasoned, I guess, do you look to add a bunch of new things to your arsenal, or are you pretty much just trying to perfect what you've already got going on? Like, is there anything that you're going to be like, you should watch for this fight, or are you just like, I'm going to be a better version than I was last time?
Just better version. Okay. There's a lot of points to my game that sometimes I feel like I don't get to portray, that I don't get to show. Fast knockouts. There has been a few distant fights. But it's just the opportunities aren't there. There's just some moves that sometimes you just don't get the opportunity to do, and that's okay. Yeah. One thing I've learned is you don't force something. Right. Like if it's not meant to be, dude, don't sit there and try to force it. So it's more about the better version of myself, I think. But, you know, if there's something that comes up in this fight that is new, I promise you it's not new to me. It's just something that we've been training, and the opportunity was just there. I'm taking it.
No,
So
I like that. You know, I always get kind of, I don't know, worried when I hear fighters are like, oh, we've been working on this, wait to see me do that. I mean, and I think the prime example of that was Ronda Rousey with her boxing. You know, we knew what she could do. We knew that a judo throw and an arm bar was coming. We knew that.
Well, and that's her nature. So why would you expect a cat to be a dog?
And then all of a sudden she's like, I'm a boxer, and everything she's doing is shadow boxing. And then she goes in there against Holly Holmes and tries to be a boxer, and then goes in there against Amanda Nunes and doesn't even try to be a boxer, just gets punched.
Dude, I think that was just cash out. I think that was just like, oh, I'm here to get knocked out and get my paycheck. Good night.
So I always get nervous when I hear fighters like, oh no, just wait to see what I'm doing. I mean, of course, always work on new things, always try to get better. But when
expand your knowledge for sure.
But when you can go in there and say, I'm just gonna be a better version of myself. I'm gonna do what I do and do it better. And like you said, there's stuff that you haven't shown yet, so there might be something we think's new, but for you,
it's old school.
You know,
it's just from day one.
Cool.
And what are you? The quote that we kind of grew up with in the gym is, "Are you scared of the man that does 1,000 techniques, or the man that does one technique 1,000 times?" You know. So that's kind of where that philosophy comes from.
I just want the cleanest jab. I just want the cleanest jab of all time. Just finish everybody with a jab.
Well, and dude, there's boxers out there who they've got a clean jab, and they know their distance, and they know how to use it, and it hits hard. Use it. Why not?
Jab is the most underrated. I feel so bad. I mean, I'm not gonna get into it. It drives me nuts. The jab is so underrated.
The jab,
it's so underrated. It's so underrated. It can do everything. It sets everything.
It's just the adrenaline, though, man. I get happy, and I'm just excited, and I want to throw all this other stuff.
I know. Everyone does. But that jab, man, just believe in the jab, everybody. Believe in the jab. All right, brother. We are at the point where my favorite part, we do a little bit of trash talking. So anybody who hasn't seen this before, I think trash talk is very silly if it's not original. If you dislike the person, that's fine. Talk all the trash you want. If you actually don't have an opinion about him or actually like him and you're trying to trash talk, it sounds ridiculous. So what I do is I make the dumbest show of it that I can. I find an internet website that generates trash talk for you, and I make every fighter talk trash to each other through the internet. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit that red button.
All right.
Don't let it unplug or else it will shut off. So you hit that red button, and then you're gonna see 4 pictures pop up, and underneath that picture there's gonna be 4 words. You read those 4 words and you can say something like, you can make it your own, however you want, but generally people are like, on June 28th, I'm gonna beat Brian Thomas because he's a blank, 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 and then that's it.
All right. So is this what he's saying to me?
This is what you're saying to him. You're gonna say, I'm gonna beat Brian Thomas because he's a, and then whatever those 4 words are.
Okay. Just clarifying. You
gotta make it. It's gotta be.
I'm a little special up top.
You're good. You're good. I'm here to walk you through the trash talk.
All right. So June 28th, Brian Thomas. You're a nerd pimping melon lotion head. I'm gonna say, what kind of garbage? Why would you say such a ridiculous thing, dude? That's
melon lotion.
Disgusting. That sounds like inappropriate, doesn't it? In a lot of ways. What kind of lotion is he using, dude? Why is he saying I use that kind of lotion? That's not nice at all,
dude. I don't know. This trash talking thing is ridiculous, and I love it. All right, man. Do you have any sponsors you want to thank? Do you have anybody special you want to thank besides your wife, or is it she your wife?
Jamie?
You are married now. Congratulations on that. Congratulations on that. Anybody else you want to thank? Any sponsors or anything?
First off, I just want to thank God always. That's the whole reason I'm here. I shouldn't be here today. A lot of things that I should be, I would have been involved if it weren't for him, and obviously the sport. But So setting that aside, though, I do want to thank my sponsors, B Diamond Leather. Go look him up. He makes some beautiful wallets. He's got a really cool one on there right now that I want, but it's got to pay the bills first, dude. Oh, it's pretty sweet, though. It's a Fighting Rooster. It's a beautiful custom leather wallet. He makes some really cool stuff. He's done cars. He's done a weightlifting belt for me. Anything that you want out of leather, if you can imagine it, he'll make it.
Awesome.
So go look him up. Rage Fitness in Lehigh. Kenny Knight is the man that owns that gym.
Okay.
He's amazing. He just came out with an awesome supplement line. Salute Supplements.
Okay.
His pre-workout is insane. It's killer. It's not so much about the sugar and stuff. It's more about, and less caffeine. I don't even think it has caffeine in it.
Okay.
It's more about the beta and the natural amino acids, which I'm a fan of because I'm super sensitive to those kind of things. So it makes it nice for me.
Yeah. It's built for you.
Yeah. So go check them out. Obviously, thank my coach, Go Excite MMA. I'm a fan of our gym, obviously. That's why I'm still there. And we welcome any fighters who are looking to just have something different or try something out. Come on in, guys.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Carson, so much for coming on the show. Everybody, June 28th, get your tickets now. You can get them from Carson. It always helps out the fighter if you get the tickets from the fighter. If you can't get them from him,
come help me pay for my child's adoption.
That's right. That's right.
I need some money to pay for that. It's expensive.
It ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. If you can't get them from him, go to steelfistfight.com to get your tickets. Look up this podcast on iTunes, iHeart Radio, and YouTube under Undefeated by Choice. You can find Steelfist on Instagram on Steelfist Fight and on Facebook as Steelfist Fight Night. Everybody be good to yourself, be good to each other. I love you.